Inciting Change, maintaining momentum through strategic action in a world increasingly defined by inequality, environmental crises, and political polarization. The call to incite meaningful change has never been louder. Yet, transformation demands more than passion, it requires intentionality, strategy, and unyielding resolve. Activists today stand at a crossroads where visibility meets vulnerability. To ignite lasting progress, they must navigate complex systems, harness collective energy, and avoid pitfalls that have derailed past efforts. This guide explores pathways forward. The roots of resistance. Understanding systemic barriers. Social change begins with confronting the structures that uphold injustice. These systems, economic hierarchies, political institutions, cultural norms, are often invisible yet deeply entrenched. Recognizing their influence is the first step toward dismantling them. Historically, oppressive regimes and exploitative policies have relied on normalization. For example, colonial legacies still shape global wealth disparities, while discriminatory laws persist in many regions. Identifying these patterns allows activists to target root causes rather than symptoms. Colonialism's legacy. Economic exploitation during colonization created modern-day inequalities that continue to affect former colonies economically and politically. Cultural entrenchment. Norms surrounding gender, race, or class often perpetuate cycles of marginalization unless actively challenged through education and policy reform. Mobilizing communities. From awareness to action. Effective activism starts with rallying people behind shared goals. Whether through local campaigns or international solidarity, creating a sense of belonging fuels participation and sustains movement longevity. Awareness alone is insufficient, it must evolve into concrete actions. This includes everything from peaceful demonstrations to legislative advocacy, requiring organizers to balance idealism with pragmatic outcomes. Leveraging technology for outreach. Digital platforms have revolutionized how movements communicate and organize. Social media enables rapid dissemination of information, but also exposes activists to surveillance and censorship risks. Data analytics now allow organizers to tailor messages to specific demographics, increasing campaign efficacy. However, reliance on technology introduces vulnerabilities related to privacy and algorithmic bias. Bridging divides. Building coalitions across differences. Sustainable change necessitates collaboration beyond single-issue advocacy. Climate justice, racial equality, and economic fairness intersect in ways that demand unified frontlines against common adversaries. Cross-movement partnerships amplify resources and broaden support bases. When labor unions join environmental campaigns, for instance, both causes gain legitimacy and financial backing. Intersectional frameworks. Movements must acknowledge overlapping identities, e.g., Black women facing both racism and sexism, to address multifaceted oppression comprehensively. Cultural competency. Successful coalitions require understanding diverse perspectives, avoiding tokenism, and prioritizing mutual respect over performative allyship. Navigating obstacles. Overcoming burnout and co-option. Long-term activism often leads to burnout, a reality exacerbated by constant exposure to trauma, criticism, and setbacks. Establishing sustainable practices protects mental health while preserving effectiveness. Co-option occurs when powerful entities absorb activist agendas to neutralize threats. Staying vigilant about who benefits from your work prevents dilution of core objectives. Strategies against burnout. Implementing boundaries between professional activism and personal life reduces exhaustion risk. Regular check-ins with peers provide accountability and emotional support networks. Rotational leadership models distribute responsibilities evenly, preventing any individual from bearing unsustainable burdens. Prioritizing rest becomes not just self-care, but revolutionary act itself. Amplifying voices, centering marginalized perspectives. True change requires elevating those historically excluded from decision-making processes. Listening to frontline communities ensures interventions reflect actual needs rather than assumptions. Leadership transitions should prioritize individuals from impacted populations. Their lived experiences inform more authentic and impactful strategies compared to outsider interpretations. Decolonizing leadership, replacing Eurocentric paradigms with indigenous knowledge systems enriches problem-solving approaches globally. Youth engagement. Younger generations bring fresh ideas and technological fluency crucial for modern campaigns targeting Gen Z voters and activists. Creating impactful messaging. Storytelling as strategy evidence shows emotionally resonant narratives drive greater engagement than dry facts. Sharing stories of struggle and triumph creates connections that transcend abstract concepts. However, messaging must avoid oversimplification. Nuanced portrayals prevent reductionist views of complex issues, fostering deeper public understanding necessary for enduring reforms. The science of persuasion cognitive psychology reveals that people respond better to relatable characters than statistical abstractions. Campaigns featuring real survivors or advocates increase trust and motivation levels significantly. Research indicates fear-based appeals often backfire, pushing audiences away instead of inspiring action. Positive reinforcement combined with clear calls to action proves far more effective in mobilization efforts. Legal and ethical considerations in activism. While civil disobedience plays a vital role in challenging unjust laws, activists must weigh consequences carefully. Legal teams can protect demonstrators while maximizing protest impact without unnecessary arrests. Ethical dilemmas arise frequently regarding tactics used against opponents. Nonviolence remains central principle even amidst provocative circumstances, reinforcing moral high ground. Protective measures. Training programs teach de-escalation techniques reducing physical confrontations during protests. Transparency standards. Documenting police misconduct through photography/video provides evidence critical for subsequent legal proceedings. Measuring progress. Beyond binary success metrics, traditional metrics focusing solely on immediate victories overlook long-term impacts. Evaluating structural changes takes years but determines whether initial efforts translate into permanent shifts. Qualitative assessments, interviews with affected communities, surveys tracking attitude shifts, offer richer insight than quantitative benchmarks alone ever could. Case studies in lasting reform. South Africa's post-apartheid constitution illustrates how institutional redesign can embed equity principles permanently. While imperfect, it transformed governance structures irreversibly. Germany's reparations process for Holocaust victims showcases how acknowledging past atrocities leads to ongoing commitments towards justice and reconciliation. Fostering resilience. Adapting to evolving challenges. Global dynamics shift rapidly due to technology advances, geopolitical tensions, and ecological disruptions. Flexible strategies enable movements to pivot quickly without losing momentum. Continuous learning cultures ensure members stay updated on emerging trends, policy developments, and best practices from other regions experiencing similar struggles. Cross-border solidarity. International collaborations share resources and expertise, strengthening weaker domestic movements facing repression. Adaptive tactics. Hybrid approaches combining traditional grassroots efforts with digital campaigns maintain relevance amid changing communication landscapes. Conclusion. Inciting change is neither simple nor linear. It demands relentless commitment, creative problem-solving, and unwavering belief in possibility despite daunting odds. By centering marginalized voices, embracing complexity, and cultivating resilient communities, activists lay foundations for transformations that endure beyond fleeting moments of attention.